Hello, my name is Bill Temes and I'm with NAIOMT faculty. When studying the biomechanical assessment of the lumbar spine, we are taught that the Hni test is a combined movement test in weight bearing, which helps us identify segments of the lumbar spine that are the hypomobile with consistent findings of dysfunction in either sagittal or coronal planes, or if there are inconsistent findings, we often consider this to be somewhat of an indication that the segments may be unstable in the lumbar spine. Unlike planar movements of the lumbar spine, we can do combined movements of the lumbar spine in both sagittal and coronal planes, and we can do this to be able to identify through palpation segments that may be hypomobile or hypermobile as well. I'm going to have you turn out to your side, if you will. With this position, we're going to expose the lumbar spine throughout. I'm going to take the lower lumbar segments and I'm going to move them to their extreme of motion in the sagittal plane movement into complete lumbar extension. And I'm then going to consider a potential that that we have a segment that is hypomobile in extension side bending left. So she's lying on her right side. I've taken it into full extension. And now I'm going to side bend and rotate from the top down to lock down the segments down through that as well. So I'm going to extend and side bend and rotate to the left, take up all the segmental motion here. And then from this position, I'm going to take her lower segments, maintaining the side bent and rotated position from above. And I'm going to palpate from L5, S1, all the way up segment by segment by taking the lower segments in the sagittal plane and moving them from extension back to neutral, back to extension, and each segment moving through the range from full extension back to neutral, mimicking what we would refer to as the H test, where I have her side bent and then I'm moving her into the sagittal plane as the second motion. If I identify a segment that has a quick release from the extended position to neutral, I'm going to consider that a hypermobile segment because of the muscle reactivity to that segment as I take it out. I can next take this, maintain the extended position and lock position of the lower segment, and then from the top down, starting at L1, L2, come down and palpate and get a sense of the segmental motion at each of the segments from L1, L2 down to L5, S1, searching for hypomobile segments or segments that feel like they're moving more than they should, which may be indicative of hypermobility. If that's identified through either one of these, then we will follow that with stress testing. Moving from the top down in rotation side bending is similar to what we would consider the eye test, where I'm locked through sagittal plane to begin with, and then moving through the coronal plane to identify the second piece. This combined movement in side bending in the combined PIVMs is what we might consider a non-weight bearing Hni test. And looking at the results of what we found in weight bearing versus non-weight bearing may help to give us more support for those segments that are truly hypermobile and potentially unstable.